Good evening, fellow Toastmaster, Mr. Toastmasters and guests. Weather the storm. How many people can say that they've been in a midst of a situation where they felt like they wanted to throw in the towel, they wanted to quit and give up, get out of Dodge? Mm-hmm. I have. You guys have? Let me introduce you to the belt press. The belt press is this massive piece of equipment, about a bus long, and it is utilized at a wastewater treatment facility to pump sludge out of the tanks and to essentially make biosolids. There's two grades of biosolids. Grade B, which gets applied to landfill and not for public access, and then there's grade A. Grade A is used as fertilizer and is applied in agriculture and farms. So there's a chemical that gets introduced in this process. It's like an assembly line. But the chemical is called polymer, and the polymer coagulates and sticks to this sludge, and it dewaterizes it. It takes the water out so that it gets mashed together, rolled, and then essentially comes out as dirt. So that's all we're talking about here. It's the conversion of sludge to dirt. So one day, I'm at work, and I'm operating this piece of machinery, and I happen to notice that I have this tote of chemicals, this polymer, and it needs to be changed. It's almost empty, so I put a new one in its place. I go and grab a Bobcat, which is like a big tractor trailer, and I set it down in place of the old one. Once I finally get it set up, I realize, oh, wait a minute. I'm parked on this hose used to drain the water out of the belt press. And I panicked. I thought that this thing was gonna burst at any second. So what do? Quick reaction, I move the Bobcat, and the Bobcat punctures a hole into this chemical. And this tote is huge. Oh my God. What am I gonna do now? So I take a deep breath. And I assess the situation. And I realize I gotta come up with a plan. And I gotta come up with this plan fast. Because this stuff is expensive. I thought that I was gonna get fired. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars of chemical that is spraying everywhere. So I said, you know what? I need to build a structure. I need to get some type of foundation high enough so I can take this large container with the Bobcat and place it on there, and then somehow have some type of barrels to capture the rest of this liquid that's going everywhere. So that's what I do. So I go and try to set up the foundation. I grab a barrel and I put it in its place. Mind you, this chemical is the absolute worst chemical that you ever want to deal with. You don't want to deal with it at all, actually. You don't ever want to see it. Because this thing is so slippery, slimy. Just imagine Spider-Man shot his web all over you, and it's like boogers everywhere. You can't get it off. You stick to everything. I touch these papers, and it's going to stay on me.
Put my paper down.
And I'm literally, and it's all over the floor, so it's super slippery. And so I'm sliding all over the place. I'm looking like Michelle Kwan ice skating. And I don't know what to do. I'm like frantic, but I go and I set up the other barrels and I put them all in their place. All 4 barrels set up. I put a pallet on top of that. And then I bring the Bobcat and I have the Bobcat pick up this big container because, you know, if it was a few pounds lighter, I would have picked it up myself, but I'm not that strong. So I say, you know what, let me get the Bobcat, I put the Bobcat on. I set it up, and finally, I get a garbage pail, and I catch the rest of what is in there. And I finally come to a close. And I can breathe. And I finally process, and I'm like, I persevered. I made it. I made it through. And my point here is exactly this, ladies and gentlemen. Despite whatever it is that you may be going through, how hard it may seem, how difficult, and how messy of a situation, just know that you could get it through to the other side. You have and possess the faculties in your brain to figure out a situation, Whether you're going to figure it out yourself or you get some other help somewhere else and you can utilize the resources to make it through to the other side. It's going to happen. It's going to work. You'll figure it out. But an important word that I've learned from a fellow Toastmaster is equanimity. And equanimity is mental calmness. Calmness despite whatever it is that you're dealing with. Taking a second to take that deep breath so that your brain could get some air and figure out what it is it needs to do so that you can assess the situation and then reach a solution. Thank you. Weather the storm.